breast cancer.
Breast cancer.
Breast cancer.
Breast cancer.
I realized that just because I had a breast cancer diagnosis, it didn't mean that I had to stop being or creating or dreaming or fulfilling my purpose. And in fact, I think my breast cancer diagnosis gave me purpose because it's allowed me to give back in ways I never thought possible.